Hi and welcome to Blueprint Career Development's TAE program. My name is Paul and I'm going to give you a guided tour through training.gov.au. So what is training.gov.au? Well, it's the official National Register of Vet in Australia. It's the authoritative source relating to nationally recognised training and for registered training organisations. It's managed by the Department of Employment Skills, Small and Family Business on behalf of the state and territory governments and has been developed for experienced training sector users. But don't let that put you off, because it's for any trainers working in the vet industry or people who have an interest in finding out about training programs and training packages. Training.gov is used to find information about nationally recognised training. So this could include anything like training packages, qualifications, accredited courses, units of competency and skill sets. It also has a searchable database of RTOs, and if you go in here you can find information about RTOs, including what their current registration status is, ownership of the RTO and scope of registration. Scope simply means the qualifications, units and courses that an RTO has ASQA's approval to offer. You can also subscribe to training.gov.au, and in doing this you can receive automatic notifications about a whole range of different things. This could include changes to training packages, qualifications, units of competency, skill sets, accredited courses, and also changes to RTOs. So for example, they might add an item to its scope or change its contact details. You can find out more information about training.gov on the link at the bottom of that slide. So let's begin the tour. To access training.gov, I simply enter training.gov.au into Google and it brings me to this page here from the Australian government. So it starts off with a site for the apprenticeships and traineeships, one for courses and training providers, which is the MySkills website, and also we have our National Register of Vet, which is training.gov.au. In this section here, we have a search function there and also a quick search area over here, as well as reports, resources, and a few other bits and pieces. To search for a particular qualification, it's very simple. You either put in the training package name, the training package code, or a unit code, or start typing a name. I'm going to look for the business services program. I'm going to type in business services. If you knew the three-letter code, you could type that in instead. And it takes me through to the next page, which is the details of the search I've just been through. So looking at this training package, it tells me there that there are 3 results. Now, when I look at these ones, it tells me over here that 2 of those are superseded and there's 1 that is current. It's always important that you go to the most current or the current training package. You can always look back on the superseded ones if you want a bit of historical information on a particular unit, but I always go to the current version because we need to prepare resources, assessments, etc. for the current version. So I'm going to click over here on BSB, which stands for Business Services Training Packages. Now, this gives me all the information I need to know about the training package. It tells me that it's superseded BSB 07 back in March 2015, and this particular release is number 6, which came out on the 28th of February 2020. So that's a fairly recent one. In this section here, we have companion volumes, which will, if you go into those, it gives you a great deal of information about the qualification, any changes to the qual. It will outline what the changes were. May have been additional units or may have been changes to units. Sometimes there's some fairly major changes. In other cases, they may be minor. That's always a good location. If you're a trainer in a particular area and you have changed training package, or if you're a new trainer, it's a great source of training information, which would be great for your own PD. A little bit down further here, we can find RTOs that have been approved to deliver the training package. As well as that, we have all the qualifications that are actually in the training package. There's a lot of information on training.gov, so it's quite often much easier if you know the qualification code or the training package or the unit of competency code to narrow your search down and make it a lot easier. We're going through it the long way at the moment because I just like to show you around I'm going to have a look at a qualification now, and I'm going to choose the BSB 20116. So if I click on this hyperlink, and all these down here are hyperlinks, this will take me through to the Cert 2 in Business. This page gives me details of the qualification. So in this case, it's a BSB 20115, Certificate 2 in Business. The section down here tells me that it is current, because remember, we always want the current qualification. And it tells me that it supersedes and is equivalent to the previous version, the 2012 version. The release status and the release date, this is the second release for this qualification. The release date was the 27th of September 2018. And in the section here, we have the companion volumes. They're repeated on every page. The training packages that include this particular qualification, it's the BSB package or the Business Services Training Package. This section down here gives us all the units of competency. It tells me here that there's 16 units of competency, and you can toggle that back between 10 or 20. It usually opens up with 10. Below here, it gives us details of the types of industry sectors that this qualification may be relevant to, and also a range of occupations. So somebody having completed this qualification may find employment in any of those fields there. They're just a few examples. You can print off a copy of the qualification in Word or PDF version, and you can also compare it with other qualifications. Lots of information here on training.gov, so it is quite easy to get lost. Down below here, it gives us a description of the qualification. It tells us if there's any licensing or regulatory information, and also any entry requirements. In this case, there are no entry requirements, but we will talk about entry requirements a little bit further into this presentation. The packaging rules are important. They tell us how many units we have in the qualification and any specific information about selecting those units. For example, in this case, we have one core unit and we have 11 elective units. Now, the one core unit, we have to have that one included. And 7 of the elective units must be selected from the units listed below. So that's out of those 15 units, we need to select at least 7 from there. The remaining 4 elective units can be selected from those units listed below, or we can import them from another endorsed training package or accredited course at the same level. We also, in this case, have the option of selecting an additional 2 units, 2 out of those 4 units, from a Cert 1 or a Cert 3 qualification. So that's a little bit about packaging rules. They are critical when it comes to putting together a qualification and determining what units you're going to run with in your qualification. A little bit of mapping information there, which tells us, compares this one with the previous version, and also links to the implementation guides, which are part of the suite of companion volume guides. Let's go back up to this section here, and we'll start having a look at one of the units. So the unit I'm going to choose is BSB WHS 201. This unit, it's current, so we need to, once again, always check to make sure we're looking at the current unit. And it tells me that it supersedes and is equivalent to BSB WHS 201A. And the change on that one was made on the 24th of March 2015. Once again, we have our companion volumes, same as the previous one, nothing different there. And in this section here, it gives us details of other training package that include this unit. So this one here that we're looking at is the Business Services Training Package, but if you have a look at the others, it's in hairdressing and beauty services, which is SHB. RGR is the Racing and Breeding Training Package, PSP, Public Sector Training Package. Each training package has its own code, which is the first 3 letters you'll find on the qualification, and also in the unit of competency. And in the section here, we have the qualifications that include this unit. Now, in this particular case, there are 71 separate qualifications that include the unit. If I open that up, it gives us the full range of, well, the full listing of qualifications. And they cover quite a variety of different training packages. Being a Certificate 2 Work Health Safety unit, it's quite a relevant unit to cover off in a lot of training packages. It is also in a lot of accredited courses. Now, accredited courses are a little bit different. We have our training packages, which are the ones we looked at before, and they start with the BSB or the PSP or the RGR, whatever those initials are. So they're the training package qualifications. But we also have accredited courses, and these are privately owned courses that have been set up by RTOs or training organisations or individuals who have seen a need for something different that's not covered by a training package. So they are privately owned, and the way to tell the difference with those is that the numbers come first, and it usually has a state or territory, or in some cases national, as to where the qualification was registered. So let's slide down the page a little bit further, down past the qualifications, which we spoke about before. We also have skill sets, which skill sets are usually a group of maybe 2, 3 or 4 units that have been put together to meet a particular requirement. In this case, we have 40 skill sets in this for this particular unit, and they cover a whole range of different areas. So it's useful for somebody if they only need to do a small section of a qualification, or they may want to do a skill set to add on to a current qualification after they've completed that qual, just to enhance their skills. In this section here, we go into details about the unit of competency. So you can print off the unit in either Word or PDF format, and also the assessment requirements are printed off as a separate document. So it talks about the application of the unit, the elements and performance criteria, the foundation skills for the unit, mapping information about this unit, and it tells us here that it's an equivalent unit to the previous version, which was BSB WHS 201, and also the assessment requirements, which is the performance evidence, knowledge evidence, and the assessment conditions. All of that is covered in our Unpacking a Unit of Competency video, which is also on Accelerate. The last thing I want to talk about in this presentation is regulatory requirements, prerequisites, and also entry requirements. So I'm going to go to a different qualification now, and that's the Diploma of Accounting, because I know this one has all 3. It tells us here some licensing regulatory information, and this basically revolves around the Tax Practitioners Board. If somebody wishes to set themselves up as a BAS agent and do BAS and payroll, they need to be registered with the Tax Practitioners Board. So there's a little bit of information around that. Entry requirements. This one here tells us that for somebody to do the Diploma of Accounting, they need to have the accounting principles skill set, or have completed the certificate for accounting or the certificate for bookkeeping. Unless they've completed those, they cannot start the diploma. We have the normal packaging rules going through here, but you'll notice with the packaging rules in here, we have some numbers and asterisk as we go down the page. The asterisk refer to prerequisite units. So what that means is for somebody to do this particular unit here, the ACC 514, they must have completed those 2 units first before they even start the ACC 514. The same with this unit here, and the same with that one. They all have prerequisites. The other thing is the numbers, number 2, number 3, number 1. And this refers to the unit being included in a Tax Practitioners Board approved course. So once again, it's a bit of regulatory information there. So those things are really, really important if you're going through putting training packages together, particularly prerequisites. And before enrolling people, you need to make sure that they've completed the entry requirements. So that concludes our presentation on training.gov. Hope you've enjoyed the tour, and good luck with your studies. Thank you.